Native Americans used its wood for baskets. Pioneers turned it into axe handles. Today, the ash is credited with turning our treeless towns into welcoming places to live. But there's a tiny insect drastically changing the view.
The emerald ash borer is already in 26 counties, and it's only a matter of time until it reaches the rest. Channel 13's Andy Fales looks at the beauty our state is losing.
They stood out like they always do, with a gilded salutation to summer. The green ash turned to gold, the white to aubergine, saving their best for the last warm days. Here's hoping you noticed, because this year is to go down as their best ever. Nothing to come will compare to this, the fall of the ash.
They're going to leave quite a void in our cities.
It's very sad. I don't really think people in Iowa understand just how bad it's going to be.
It's news that reeks of irony. Giant trees which have stood through the biggest storms will soon fall to the smallest foe.
The borer will start working from the top of the tree down.
Experts estimate the emerald ash borer is at least 3 years into its assault on central Iowa, and that casualties are coming soon.
Everywhere we drive in central Iowa, and probably anywhere in Iowa, we're going to see a lot of dead trees.
The effect on our landscape could pale in comparison to that on our city budgets. In public spaces alone, there are 26 million ash trees in Iowa.
If we said conservatively, on the average, it's going to cost $500 per tree to remove. When you do the math on that, 26 million plus trees times $500, that's $13 billion just for removal.
As that sinks in, consider this. Most of our ash trees were planted in the 60s and 70s to help fill in the holes left by another foreign invader, Dutch elm disease.
It killed thousands and thousands of trees in every small town in the Midwest.
The ash seemed to be the perfect replacement, fast-growing, tough, tolerant of urban environments, and cheap. Suburbs like Clive planted them by the thousands. But it's the many small towns like Ellsworth where ashes make up nearly 50% of the canopy, which now find themselves in the worst spot.
It could bankrupt small communities when they have to deal with these dead and dying ash trees.
Treatments work but require a long-term commitment. Many ashes will likely be left to die, creating bigger hazards as their heavy branches turn brittle.
That's going to be a problem. It's a problem today, and it's going to be worse.
Arborists worry about disposing of ash trees, but also about what will take their place. There are already 3 times as many maples in Iowa as there are ashes. Adding more could spell disaster should they fall ill.
There are going to be future bugs and future pathogens that hit our trees.
You could be looking at EAB times 3 for a lot of communities, 10, 15, 20 years down the road.
We might avoid a repeat of history by taking full notice of exactly what is happening today. The loss of an Iowa native.
This will go away.
And then you have that empty hole where you think, my favorite tree used to be there.
An individual tree I can live with. The whole species, that's pretty damn tough.
There is time for one last look, to secure in our minds the memory of the times when they held against the wind and shaded our children, when they secured the banks of our waters and their leaves danced down our streets. A time when they stood over us, still golden and alive, until the fall of the ash. Andy Fales, Channel 13 News.
Experts caution that putting off dealing with an ash tree will only add to the eventual cost. Treatments can only be applied to mostly healthy trees, and dead or dying ones are more expensive to remove. You know, they add so much beauty and so much value to our communities. Beautiful story by Andy, and I think Randy Schumacher was
the photojournalist.
Yes.
I had no idea the scope of it until just now.
Right.
It's really hitting probably a lot of you.
I know that my parents' generation, the Dutch elm disease, they talked about that, and this is going to be our generational legacy, saying, man, I remember all those ash trees and when that happened. It is hard to watch. Great pictures in that story, and from, again, our Instagram hashtag IA365, this beautiful bridge in Henry, Iowa. That's down in the Marion County area. We are going to see a cool down, a little bit of rain first. We'll add on to the totals. It's been a dry October. November might be making up for it.